You asked for it, you got it. The Baseball is Dead Patreon is now open for business.
What's a BID Patreon without drafts? You can draft absolutely anything, and that's what we're doing. We're drafting everything.
Well, we've got the blog. We've got Nugs on the blog. We've got a book club. That's meeting once a month. Here we go.
I'll be right there with Jay Hay writing, and you can catch us with gaming streams. Old games, new games, all of it.
Patreon.com/baseball is dead. We'll see you there.
I mean, this is a sport that's on the precipice of irrelevance.
The games are taking over 3.5 hours. Playoff games are taking over 4 hours.
Game's too long, too slow. Who cares?
This is a situation where baseball's in trouble to begin with.
I hate to break it to you, baseball's dead.
Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
I debated wearing a mask for the show today, but I'm showing face today. Because I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. And I'm proud of I don't want to say the effort this weekend because I'm not had a chance in the last AB in every single series over the past weekend. So we're just gonna keep it moving. I feel like that's all we really need to say about it.
Had a chance? Did you have a chance?
Yes.
I take some things away outside of losing the series. I think there was a lot more to take away from that series than just,
for whom
didn't get him this time.
Yeah,
For
it's
whom?
that Gage jump has some weird power or curse
the Red
over
Sox
the Red
fans.
Sox.
No. For Red Sox fans, that's what I would take away. That's what was to be taken away is for that group of people to, I think, have their team. And I know the wave of excitement you guys have been writing, but to have that kind of put in perspective, like, is this?
No, there's
is
no.
this how susceptible we are? No, I think there is. I think there is. I mean,
it
starts with
that's baseball, Susan.
It is kind of crazy to be out here
Bull
flexing when your GM did just get canned in the last 3 days.
Like Dallas got another person fired. He got his GM fired. I actually, because it was in Boston, like he asked me personally not to say this, but I watched him go into the ownership box and say, hey, like we need to get this guy fired. And promptly they fired him. And I mean, good for Dallas. I mean, he ended up sparking up the boys and they ended up taking a series from the hottest team in baseball. Red Sox were going for 10 straight wins on Saturday. That was stopped. They were going for 10 straight series wins on Sunday. That was stopped. And it's all because Dallas got the GM fired.
Well, that's not true. That isn't even
multiple people told me off the
being
record who asked to remain anonymous that it was you behind
what,
it. Multiple people.
Milky, what you take away from this is the Red Sox, who have this anticipation of being this great world beater in the postseason, all because they've had a nice, cute little run during the regular season. Yeah, I mean, what people have won baseball
Brown
games
was
before.
still in the Celtics the last time that we lost back-to-back.
32-5 is a pretty good run. Pretty good stretch.
That's cute for sure. It's cute. But I think the Red Sox, what you have to take away is this is what we have to worry about is a team with no GM, a team full of young and inexperienced players, a team, when I talk about the next man up mentality, is full of the next men and then the other next men as well. A team full of those guys can absolutely wax us. The folks who've been doing the heavy lifting for us, the bullpen, looks like the bullpen might need some spotters today under the bench. I don't know that that's a bullpen I can necessarily trust.
A 1-run lead
that
for
is
the Red Sox
tough.
in the 8th inning on Sunday. And Aroldis Chapman is like 47 years old. Like I feel like.
How about Jarren Duran catches a ball with an 80% catch probability? That'd be pretty nice.
Yep.
Well, so you guys hate Jarren Duran. I listened to you guys boo Wilson Contreras.
Well, I mean,
who
was essentially
Tyler
Milliken here.
Essentially on his deathbed. Guy's on his deathbed trying to go out and play baseball, and he gets rewarded with a fucking hearty round of booze.
I don't stand by that. that.
So you don't stand by the manager either. When are you going to get Chad Tracy fired?
No.
No. You don't stand by it. Chad Tracy said, I stand by Wilson Contreras, and I've given this guy the free
so I
rein
don't stand by
to
the
be
booing.
the dude that he is.
We're saying the same thing. Me and Chad, we're saying the same thing. Because if I don't stand by the booing, that means that I'm backing Wilson Contreras. Which, by the way, I didn't mention this last night on the podcast. I don't know. We're supposed to be releasing Chad Sox shirts soon. And I told Chad Tracy on Friday or Saturday, I think it was Saturday, I was like, pretty soon you're going to see Chad Sox t-shirts all over this place. And he said, do I get a cut of this? And I said, well, could be any Chad. So, yeah, we are, yeah.
Wow, so just milking them for all they're worth, sharing none of that. I mean, that sounds about right if we're being honest.
You know, it is a situation where, you know, you got to tip your cap to the A's, which, by the way, I didn't pick them to make the playoffs this year, but I think, did Jay?
Did I pick the A's?
I think you did. I think you did.
I did not. No, last year I did.
Did not fucking pick. I did not. No.
Yeah, last year I did because I remember when we were in the St. Louis, Missouri, the A's had a very strong start to the season, and I went on MLB Network to talk about how the A's were going to be dancing in October, and yeah, it's not gone their way this year. You know, Dallas has gotten multiple people fired at this point. And
I mean, realistically, look at what it took for the Red Sox to even compete. It took Peyton Tully having the greatest game he's ever pitched in his life.
It was 14-2
to beat the A's.
The fuck it was.
Right? Bro, it was, so does that negate that Peyton Tully had 14 fucking strikeouts?
No. I'm just saying we could have started Adley
A's?
Rutschman on the mound in that game and it wouldn't have mattered.
I don't think that's the case. I think what happened is you got one of the game's best left-handers on the mound.
He's great.
And he was absolutely dominant. And that's what it took to win the one and only game you could muster against the Athletics, who hadn't won a series since fucking June, Jared.
We haven't lost a series since June.
Well, you sure have now?
Yeah. No,
you sure have now?
Again,
and like I told you, the part of the team, part of the team that's supposed to be so good. This bullpen's supposed to be so good.
They're tired.
So good.
They're tired from being so good.
They're tired. Absolutely. Yeah. Whitlock, whack. Whitlock, you ever heard of Jonah Hunt? Whack.
Four sinkers in a row. What the fuck are we doing? What are we calling
Chapman is having nightmares about Alika Williams. That's who Aroldis Chapman is waking up in cold sweats from. Alika Williams, who almost pumped his shit out of the yard in Sacramento out to dead center. They're like, yo, Chapman's in, the guy who's punched out more people out of relief than anybody in baseball history. We got something for you. Swallow this Alika pill, bitch.
Am I wrong?
Bam, knock. Max Muncy, bam, knock, beating down the monster. And what happens? Chapman dragging that sack of shit back to the fucking dugout, back to a clubhouse, mired in a loss.
Did Chapman?
Would love for
Chapman
that to happen in
blew
October
against the A's in Sacramento last summer, right?
Yeah, when Lawrence Butler walked him off, the lefty. Yep, that happened.
There was also the weird pickoff moment yesterday too.
There were a lot of weird moments.
When Contreras threw it into fucking left field.
I think you gotta just tip your cap, T. There's nothing. I mean, like Dallas is a terrorist. Like he's gonna do what Dallas does, but I have no problem tipping my cap to the A's. They're a horrific team. They're not good at all, but they seem to play well against the Red Sox. The Red Sox, I think Coley said it. They play down to the competition. They play up to the competition. They're like, oh, the A's, they're fucking horrible. And they took their foot off the gas. They got what they deserved. They got what they deserved in this series.
So that's going to be a tough place to be then if you think you're going to be the best team going into the postseason, which I know you guys have this.
Well, then we would play up to the playoff team. So like,
it's tough if you're the best team. Because if you're the best team, like you think you might be, then inherently you're going to be playing down two.
We've been the best
down
team.
Down two. That's how that works.
We're not. I wouldn't say we're the best team. Definitely in the American League. Yeah.
Well, I've heard that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to play down to
get
the competition until they get to the World Series. But then once they get to the World Series,
they're going to have to start Peyton Tully every day.
I will say, Dallas, I don't think I've ever heard someone use a pitcher absolutely dominating, shitting all over their entire team's lineup, none of them even having a single chance, as a reason to back the A's and why it was more impressive instead of compliment the Red Sox for how great they were.
Like I talked to Tully. I talked to Peyton. Talked to it.
But he obliterated you. Like, you guys had no chance. You couldn't even keep up with the fastball. Like, it wasn't even competitive. We're talking about a guy.
That's what it took.
Think about it. The guy, the only
Tyler
MLB pitcher to have 14 Ks. I do. You're so right.
Badly right now.
The only MLB pitcher to have 14 Ks
shut up.
in a game where he threw fewer than 85 pitches. You could argue it was the most dominating start we've ever seen from a guy who threw that few pitches in a start.
Yeah.
There's no arguing that. There's no arguing that at all. And I don't think there's any arguing that it took that kind of effort to hold off the Athletics, because when you don't get the best pitching performance you've ever seen, what happens? You lose.
14
hear,
runs.
You lose.
Did you hear what Jake Rogers said after the game, Dallas?
I don't care what Jake Rogers said.
I
after
think
that.
I think you do care.
He's been an absolute fucking nightmare for the Athletics.
All right. Did you hear who he compared Peyton Tully to after he caught him for the first time?
No, Scooble?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he knew already.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you do that?
He sees it. He sees
Well,
it.
buddy, I was in. Remember when you guys were just in Sacramento? I was in the bullpen watching Tully work and talked with him and Bailey after, and we had a great.
But
I
saw Bailey on Saturday, and he was like, "Dude, fuck Dallas." He was like, "Let's beat his ass after the game," and I was like, "Let's." Listen, he's got a big league ball game to call, but he was ready to throw hands.
I don't know. I talked to Bailey out in the bullpen again this series. I don't think that was the case.
Oh,
also spent almost 45 minutes Craig and I catching up, which is really nice.
How'd that go?
Good. Very
Dallas,
good.
my motherfucker. What's up, bitch? Where the fuck you been, dog?
I gotta tell you.
Me and
Craig,
you with the fucking A's, motherfucker. Remember those days? Me and you, boom, boom, and bones, bitch. Remember that
I gotta
shit?
tell you.
Where the fuck your hair
Craig,
go, motherfucker? You look different, bitch.
Craig, very aware. Craig, very.
I know. I told him.
Very aware.
I told him. Yeah.
Very aware.
Very aware of what?
Does he swear that much, Dallas? Just when you're like one-on-one like that? Like, is it just uncomfortable to hear the amount of swears?
I tried to tell you guys this entire time that who you think you're dealing with or who you think you know probably couldn't be further away from who I know and the individual that I know.
Yeah. That's like...
And he would never... I mean, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I just don't know that you would ever get that side of Craig.
I mean, I'm sure that's normal that who you are as a player would not be who you are post-retirement. Like, it's that was your college experience, and now he's a grown man.
No, but those are the things that make people in his position good at what they do, is they don't forget where they've come from. And that's why I kept telling you guys this entire time, it's really hard for me to believe that Craig has lost the plot. I know you guys feel that way. I know you felt that way. Well, not now. You sure as shit did early. There was no denying that.
That was his own fault.
I don't understand what Craig is doing, so I can't fucking get on board with it. I can't wrap my head around some of these moves.
No, I'm sorry.
I don't know what it's like to look at a roster
about the same Craig that there were reports this year where they needed an English to English translator because he couldn't communicate well?
Look at the media outlets. Look at the media outlets. I see today people absolutely crushing Contreras because he didn't hustle out of the box. Those are the same people that are talking about Craig needing a translator. Get the fuck out of here.
The truth is somewhere between what both of us are saying, because I tried to tell people that when you talk to him and he doesn't have a microphone or a camera in front of his face, he does sound like a human. When he would sit in front of the media and he does like a TV spot or a press conference or a radio spot, then he sounds like a robot. I knew that he's not robot Craig 24/7, but it doesn't matter what I say or how he sounds when he talks to people privately. He needed to be more human and relatable. And it's really not been until this stretch that we've seen that. Like now when he goes on radio, it's like, oh, he just made a funny joke. Like you almost have to like be like, wait, did he mean that for that to be funny? He did. That's great. Good job.
What would you have him do? What would you have him do? Like sit there and entertain every stupid opinion that comes out of some assholes with a Red Sox podcast? You want him to do that, or do you want him? You want him to just go, hey, look, I'm going to make the decisions, and there's going to be time for this to play out. And if you want to judge me 10 minutes after making the decision, then you go ahead and do that. But I know that I'm making moves that are going to be seen and felt impactful wise down the road here. And there's probably going to be a time where we're going to be able to look up and go, damn, am I crazy, or is this stuff starting to work out? Is this stuff starting to unfold the way I had hoped it would? Not that it always works that way.
Decisions and more about the communication skills. Like there's a way that you can talk about baseball, still sound smart, but not sound like you're talking about quantum physics. And that
I think it would be fair to say that there's some people who just are absolutely horrible communicators, don't want to face that, and they want to be given the benefit of the doubt, But I don't know that Craig falls into that category. He's somebody who, I've got an idea of what I want to do. I don't need to entertain outside opinion right now. What I need to do is keep my head down and focus on what we're trying to build. And I'll let this market do what it does and cannibalize itself and everybody around us. And then when we start to have some success, I'll let them come crawling back and kiss the ring. And that's exactly what you guys are doing.
I will say with Craig, and I have viewed him through this lens, and I think this is the proper way. It was a guy who, when he was hired to be the CBO of the Red Sox weren't planning for him to fill that role. They wanted him to be their director of pitching. He was seemingly years away from being ready for that kind of position. I looked at him like a prospect you called up early and was going to have to go through growing pains at the big league level. We can talk about the last couple of off seasons. Did anyone ever say the moves they made during the offseason weren't good? What he did a year ago when he brought Bregman in and Crochet? No, that was an A off season. But we saw things in season, things that kind of evolved from communication with players. And there was a comment from Craig Breslow himself back when Devers was traded, along with in that Tim Healy article, where he said, maybe I didn't realize how important it was, some of these personal relationships inside of an organization, some of that communication that's there. So I think with Craig, in terms of evaluation and player talent, his grades are pretty strong. It's really hard to argue that track record. I think for him, in terms of how to work within an organization and communicate with the people there, that has been the growing pains, the process that he's tried to overcome and learn from. And right now he looks awesome. And you can even point maybe some of the people he was still employing back in April, and I am an Alex Cora guy, I was someone who spoke highly, were those guys part of the communication issues going on? Because when you look at a driveline heavy staff that you have right now, a driveline heavy staff, it's clear that whatever the messaging and whatever the belief system they're operating from, everybody's on the same page when it comes to that right now.
Belief system, belief. And maybe that's something that Craig has always had, is the belief, and maybe something that wasn't necessarily communicated all the way down from the top to the clubhouse, from the clubhouse to the bench or the dugout, if you will, is, hey, we believe in these guys. Maybe that message got lost in what was the word that you used here?
Translation. I will say
that's the message that got lost. So I think when Jared absolutely begged and pleaded for the entire coaching staff to get fired, what Jared was saying out loud was, Alex Cora is a horrible communicator. Alex Cora does not publicly support these players. I need Alex Cora gone. I need the rest of this coaching staff gone because they're not giving Craig's message in the way that it should be delivered. That's what Jared was saying this entire time. He didn't even know it.
I will say,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Backstabbing AC like that after everything he had did for you, Jared. That's fucking wild.
I want to pass it to Jay Hay. My final thought is, Craig Breslow was the one who decided to extend Alex Cora, gave him 3 years, wanted to give him 5. Cora was only willing to take 3. So as much blame as you want to put on Cora being there, or maybe him not wanting Pete Fatsi there, as the CBO of the Boston Red Sox, you got to have your balls on the table and be willing to fire someone or multiple people if they are not working within your logic or what you want implemented at the big league level. The fact that you waited as long as you did, hey, they turned this season around, but there's blame for that on you as well. And maybe that was a young CBO who felt like he didn't have the authority or the ability to fire someone like Cora until he absolutely had to. And I think that's what we're playing out. Jay Hay,
just felt terrible to see a good baseball man get absolutely drugged over the coals by Jared like that. I love AC. That's tough.
I love AC too.
That is the first thing that I wanted to say. I just want to plant my flag as a pro AC guy, even during these tough times. That's Alex. I got you, man. My real comment on the series, to the extent that we're still even talking about that, is I just think from my semi-neutral perspective, I think the individual pitching performances, I think Toley's obviously was already called out, but Gage Jump's performance as well, if that wasn't mentioned, it may have been in all of that, but Jump's performance probably the most dominant in terms of at least swing and miss and whiff of his entire career. And then kind of on like a semi-different plane, but the ongoing relief performance of Brian Bayo, which I know is a story that Red Sox Nation is obviously very plugged into, but he delivered 4 innings of 1 run and 4 strikeouts again on Sunday, which I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he has been utterly unhittable since his transition to the bullpen. And then on the flip side, kind of the Jake Bennett, I won't call it a situation, but just his little downturn and obviously what's been kind of a precedent moving season for him in terms of load and expectations and all those sorts of things. So I just think there was a lot of interesting things going on from some of like the sub-star level arms going in this series.
Yeah, Bayo. I mean, the numbers check out, right? Bayo's first innings have seen more runs than Jared's toilet. Like that's why he is not allowed to throw baseballs in the first inning, is because, I mean, it's not great. So whatever he's mentally found after inning one, fantastic. Yeah. I love what the Red Sox have cooking based on the trio. I mean, like between Bennett, Tolle, and Crochet, you're talking 6'6", 240 pounds a pop of left-handed fucking titans, right? And Bennett bringing up the rear, so to speak, in terms of the horsepower that's brought to the table with each one of those dudes. But just from a outsider perspective, like, you get excited when you look at the pitching matchups and you think you're going to see Tolle. You think you're going to see Bennett. We're just watching Bennett work the sink and the change piece. Big fan of that. And then obviously what Crochet brings to the table. I don't know that you really even need to speak on that. But yeah. And then what did happen in that series, just to wrap up, I was going to, probably touch on this on Give Him Some Love, but Jeff McNeil logged his 1,000th career hit, which led to the rally. And then Jacob Wilson,
the D,
now has the record for the most errorless games in a row at shortstop. Jay Willie picking it.
I told y'all about Jay Willie.
Told y'all about Jay Willie. About time y'all learned something.
Yep. Where do you stand on the defensive metric conversation with him? I've seen it's been very popular on Twitter the last 2 days or so. I'm just curious as someone who watches him every day.
Well, I can tell you this, that there has been significant development from his first step, right? And again, we can get into what's valued and what's not, and the discrepancies between outs above average and defensive runs saved. I think that's why we all still, to an extent, appreciate yet have issues with defensive metrics, is because of the, I don't want to call it nitpicking, but I think maybe cherry picking some of the things that you value. And so when you think about a guy who's not made an error over 111 straight games, you're probably saying to yourself, this dude gets to absolutely fucking everything and is as sure-handed as it gets. And I think those things can be true and also have nuance to them at the same time. And that's why I highlight his first step development, because just watching him up close, I can see the things that have changed that have allowed him to get to balls and that he might not have otherwise got to earlier. And the fact that he has the fucking canyon of an arm that he does, that can also, at any fielder, and especially on the left side, it can bail you out of maybe not being able to get around a ball, right? At shortstop, if you can't necessarily get around a ball and play through it, and you're better served going to the backhand because that's the position you find yourself in, he has no problem just sticking that right foot in the ground and fucking hosing that sumbitch all the way across the diamond. He can do that. And that's the benefit to having the skill set that he has, is if it's going to take me to range left or right, I got to work on my first step, which he's done. If I can get to those balls, we show a highlight all the time of him popping up off the ground, trying to get his right foot underneath him. The right foot slips out, but he's got such a fucking hose that even with nothing underneath him, still able to get the out, still able to make the throw. So he has taken, pun intended, many, many steps forward just from a first step and actually starting position approach. And that comes from, and I got to give a lot of credit to Bobby Crosby here, because even as fat, sloppy, and slow as Bobby Crosby was when he played, he's got a pretty good idea of where to start. He's got a pretty good idea on how to play a big league shortstop, and he played a damn good one. And you guys know I love Bones. I'm just fucking with him. But I think he showed Jacob Wilson how to evaluate hitters in the moment, understand pitch selection and where you might think about being, where you might anticipate the ball moving. And I think Jacob Wilson has done a fantastic job of taking that information in and applying it. So I think that's a long-winded answer that maybe didn't quite answer your question, but that's how I look at the discrepancy and where he's at on the outs above average list compared to a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. Because are we denying that Bobby Witt Jr. is a better athlete? No. Are we talking about Bobby Witt Jr. having a better arm? No. I mean, we know Bobby Witt Jr. is a supreme athlete, but Jacob Wilson, what do you want from your fielders at the end of the day, Milky? I want you to make the plays, right? I want you to make the routine plays. And if you have the ability to make the exceptional play, I'd love that too. And Jacob Wilson has checked those boxes.
I hope you're checking some boxes on Kalshi. Because on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning that there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the promo code BID to get $10 when you trade 10. That's Kalshi, Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything. I know we were talking Peyton Tolley. Speaking of lefties, the John Lester interview on BID last week is getting a lot of love in a lot of different places, as it should. As it should. Lester was fucking awesome. The clips are doing well. The interview is doing well. I saw it was being discussed outside of our little BID bubble, which is always nice. Hunter Pence, speaking of multiple-time World Series champions, Hunter Pence is on the podcast today. I feel like, being that he's a Giants guy, there's a lot going on in Giants land for a team that's not very good. There's a lot of stuff that's happening over there we can get to with Hunter Pence. At the time of us recording, we haven't talked to him yet. So we'll see where that conversation goes.
Love to hear some of his thoughts on, well, we'll get to it, on how that clubhouse has come together or maybe not come together, how things have gone.
It's interesting. Shall we talk about some of the weekend series?
Gosh, let's.
Yeah, I feel like it's only appropriate. But yeah, before we do that, I am wearing BL 101, as I always do. Come on. It's Baseball Lifestyle, man. Baseball is Dead is pumped to have Baseball Lifestyle 101 on board. If you're listening to this show, you probably already know the brand. You see BL 101 everywhere in dugouts, at the cages, at tournaments, all over social media. They basically become part of the baseball culture. And if you watch Baseball is Dead, you probably noticed something else. We wear their stuff all the time. Me, Dallas, Jay, T, Baseball Lifestyle is basically the unofficial wardrobe of the show at this point. And that was happening before they became a sponsor. That's why this partnership makes so much sense for us. We already like the brand. We already wore the gear. And now we get to officially have them as part of the Baseball is Dead family. They've got something for pretty much everybody who loves baseball. They've got tees, hoodies, hats, youth through adult, plus their premium pro series if you're actually out there playing. And they're constantly dropping new stuff. Every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Baseball Lifestyle drops a new limited collection. And when it's gone, it is gone. So go to BL101.com, check out the latest drop. And if it's your first order, use the promo code BID for 20% off. Baseball Lifestyle, it's more than a game. It's a lifestyle. Go get yours. Promo code BID for 20% off if you're a first-time customer. All right, let's get into it. It is the Rapid Weekend Series recaps. Let's start with Dodgers D-backs. Wow. The D-backs, I mean, the Dodgers have been in an absolute tailspin ever since the Red Sox did what they did to them. They swept them and everyone was like, oh, not a real sweep, fake sweep, yada, yada, yada. They have been in a downward spiral ever since the Red Sox dusted them. That continued on Friday night.
Walled into the gap. That's got some legs. It's on its way, and it's gone. Ryan Waldschmidt wins it.
Ryan Waldschmidt.
Wow!
2-run walk-off homer off of Edwin Diaz, by the way. The D-backs take game 1 on Friday night, and that brings us to Saturday. The Dodgers finally, barely, by a score of 2-1, they stopped their 7-game losing streak with a 2-1 victory to set up the rubber match on Sunday, only to have Eduardo Rodriguez shove it up their ass for 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 9 Ks. I didn't realize this. This makes me a bad fan. I could have sworn that Eddie at least made one other All-Star team. This was his first All-Star selection this year. In his age 33 season, he was a first-time All-Star. He's made 24 starts. It's a 2.70 ERA. He's not punching out many guys. Like, he's well below a strikeout per inning. But 24 starts and a 2.70 for Eddie. The D-backs take this series 2-1. Dallas?
Mets, Pirates, avert your eyeballs, Buccos fans. Mets ended up taking this series. Game 1 powered by Marcus Semien, his 3-run blast, 3-hit day from A.J. Ewing as well. Shout out the rookie Zach Thornton on the tit, 5 shutout. And that's now 3 earned runs or less in 6 of his first 7 career starts for the young man. So fantastic job there. The majority of the damage came against Smolinski, 3 innings, 5 earns, obviously responsible for the home run. That was game 1. Shout out Hunter Pence, who's just joined, is going to catch up on the weekend wrap up here with us. Game 2, Bubba Chandler, fucking dealing. 6 shut for Bubba Chandler. Is that a pour over, Hunter?
Yeah, somewhat of a pour over.
Okay, good work. Appreciate that. Buccos, 9-0. Jake Mangum led the charge, 3 for 5, couple doubles, couple runs, a ribby, swiped a bag, loud noise, homered as well. And shout out Nick Gonzalez, 3 RBI day as well. Game 3, this was the Bo Bichette bashing. Bo Bichette, 5 for 5, 3 stakes. Oh, Lubob had 4 driven in as well. Scored a few times. Jared Jones touched up a bit. 3 innings, 8 Ernies, and shout out Sean Maniolator. Fucking slicing and dicing the throw at Samoan. 7 innings.
Samoan.
11 tickets punched, just 1 earned run. And that was the solo shot from Jake Mangum. And that's how this series played out. Unfortunately, in the favor of the Mets.
That's too bad. Well, since Hunter Pence is here, we might as well just let's talk to Hunter Pence. I mean, shit, this is where are you geographically right now?
I'm in San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. So I feel like a lot has been made about the San Francisco Giants this year. I know that's home for you in many ways. Obviously, me and T being Red Sox guys. Rafi Devers goes over there last year. Marcelo Meyer just gets flipped over there. Willie Adames, somewhat of a new addition. There's been quite the departure from the 2010, 2012, 2014 culture of the San Francisco Giants. What can you say about where the franchise is at right now today?
Yeah, it's a great question. And honestly, it's probably the most talented minor league system we've had in a long time. We have an extraordinary collection of young talent, especially on the infield side. As far as the major league side, they definitely came into this season with a roster they expected to win, and it hasn't happened. Rafi Devers, that you talk about that trade, and things haven't gone well since he's come over, but he is actually, he started out this first month of the season terribly, but he's having another great year. He's on pace to hit 30 home runs, have a ton of RBI, just an absolute pro. Willie Adames is once again, he's hitting home runs, not hitting for average, plays enthusiastic, shortstop. He brings energy every day and leadership, but the bullpen has just been the issue for this year's team. And, we obviously were sellers at the deadline, got some incredible talent that people didn't expect the Giants to get, because they weren't just going to give away. We love Luis Ariz. He was so fun to watch and just doing everything right. The Red Sox got Eric Miller, who would become our closer, and just, you talk about 99 to 100 mile an hour lefty, huge sink, that the change up, slider command. So, but to bring back, a Marcelo Meyer, who's been in the top 10, 15 over the last 3 years. But it's really a team that has a lot of young talent. They're going to be developing right now. They got a manager who's kind of developing as well. He's definitely taken some thrashings and learning the ways of professional ball versus college ball. But we're seeing him kind of make those adjustments as mistakes are made. And really it for a team that has a terrible record, it's actually been exciting to watch. I think their offense, they had Jung-Hoo Lee and Luis Ariz, who were 2 of the 6 300 hitters in all of Major League Baseball. Hunter Pence, our hitting guy, is one of the best I've seen in a while. And our approach as a team has been really good, but we have blown the most saves in all of baseball. And I think you guys know, Dallas, this, especially pitching wins championships. Like, you have to pitch. The Red Sox right now, you look at their lineup, besides Wilson Contreras, it's kind of some okay seasons, nothing that jumps out at you. Willie Abreu's doing well, but you look at their pitching numbers and, Sonny Gray and your bullpen, Chapman and Whitlock.
Hunter, their bullpen just gave it up against the Athletics. Eric Miller actually just got touched up for the first run he's yielded in about 16 straight games. So their bullpen right now, I don't want to call it in disarray.
Blame it on the
definitely
fielding.
searching for
Blame it on the fielding.
What?
Yeah.
The Red Sox bullpen is searching?
Yeah, it's
Don't
entertain this.
Wow. All right, but congrats to the A's. They snuck one away from the hot Red Sox.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Hey, talk to me about, because I know, we've known each other for a while, and I know how important, how pivotal a role of being a glue guy in the room can be for the Giants right now. Chappie undergoing what he's undergone physically. Adames as well. I know there was a lot of talk about whether Willie is preparing to play shortstop the way people want him to prepare to play shortstop. Are you not taking advantage of Ron Washington? Are you who's the glue guy in the room, and how important is that, especially for a team like the Giants who do have postseason aspirations, not this year, but obviously want to be competitive in the very near future? Who's the glue guy, and how can that help a team that is, I think, still kind of searching for that identity?
Yeah, it definitely is gonna be very important. And you look at the team, and obviously it was, Arise was a massive glue guy. The torch is passed. It's Devers and Adames, and when Chapman comes back, those are the big three. You got Logan Webb, who's the other one as well. And for where their season is, in Dallas, you've probably been a part of teams when you're just totally out of it and you have to find your own inspiration. I watched Devers and Eldridge and, Schmidt and all these guys coming out with Washington, working on it every day. They're playing hard. Like Devers almost broke his leg jumping into the fence yesterday. Like they are fighting and they are bringing passion and energy and rinsing, washing off their record every single day. That has been fun to watch, so the stadium's still kind of packed. They're playing close ball. It's almost like they're snake bitten. They just, like yesterday, the Detroit Tigers, they may throw an absolute laser missile from right to throw out Adames at home on a ball that I would say 95% of the time is a tackable ball to take the lead. Webb threw a great game. So I'm giving you long answers here, but it's Adames and Devers has the torch right now. Eldridge is definitely going to be the leader of the future. Like he is well beyond his years. He's incredibly smart, incredibly talented, and he's got a big opportunity to develop right now.
Buster Posey, you knew him as a player. Now he's the executive. He's the he was the face of the franchise as a player, but now he's kind of still the face of the franchise of the Giants in the role that he's in now. What conversations have you had with him about, transitioning into the role that he's in and the difficulties of it, and trying to, because I hate to bring everything back over here, but Craig Breslow being a former player who's now the chief baseball officer, I think at first there was this clamoring for remember that you were a player, operate at a deadline, be like, you knew what it was like when the team needed life at the deadline and what that does for the room if you can provide that to this current roster. What conversations have you had with him about just the transition into this new baseball life that he's in?
Yeah, several, quite a few actually, and just being in his corner and seeing the vision, because we really do have a lot of exciting things coming through the minor leagues. 4 of the 5 teams were in first place. They're playing insane. Our young talent is so exciting. We have 2 shortstops, and they can't all play shortstop, but that are 17 and 18 years old. When you watch them play, it's unbelievable. Josué Gonzalez and Luis Hernandez, these guys, they're killing it in low A at 17 and 18, just dropping bombs, playing exceptional defense. Luis Hernandez, he grew up under Carlos Guillen, teaching him. His understanding in baseball IQ is through the roof. And then Josué Rodriguez is just he's so electric, like talented and gifted and athlete and just everywhere, just let him go crazy. One of the craziest athletes I've ever seen at that age. So Johnny Level's doing some great things as well. We just added a bunch of arms. So with regards to Buster and the vision and like, he knows like, okay, the bullpen has really, got us this season. We had a lineup and the offense was really good. But he's putting in the work. He told me, he's like, I'm excited for the challenge. He's taking a lot of heat. Obviously that's heavy on him. He doesn't, he wants to see the Giants win. He didn't have to take this. This is because he loves the Giants and wants to see them win and succeed. And so, he's grinding and obviously there's frustrations with a losing season and a lot of that goes to him and I don't think it's necessarily fair that the team hasn't done this, but he's in it to win it. He's in the thick of it. He cares. And the fire and competitiveness of him, he wears it really hard, but he's putting in the work and looking to turn this thing around. So
a quick follow-up to all that. Do you think that he understood? I'm not saying that this is currently happening, but it's, the Giants are 20 games under 500. Do you think he understood that he was essentially putting not his legacy on the line, because nothing can diminish what he did as a player, but when you are who you were in San Francisco as a player, and then you take over that exact, like, he's not at the helm of the Detroit Tigers. Like, he went from San Francisco Giants legend to San Francisco Giants front office member. Do you think he understood the risk that he was taking if this doesn't go well?
100%. And I think that speaks volumes to who he is, because he could have just rid off into the sunset as the hero forevermore.
Definitely.
And, and he genuinely loves the game, as we all do here. We're a part of it. We don't necessarily have to be, and he didn't have to be. He wants the accountability, and he's, the fact that everyone's mad at him and cares is a great thing, because we are passionate about baseball. He cares too. He's upset at where we are at. We're here to win. And that's where you got to continue to grind when nobody's looking. You got to continue to do the work that's going to turn this thing around and learn the lessons that, a season of losing teaches you. And, obviously he was very aware that this could happen. And, it's a snapshot in time, and it's going to take time for it to really become Buster's team. We're getting close. I think it's 3 years before it starts to be his team. The first year, I really feel like he kind of just stood back and was like, I'm going to learn all of this. I'm going to let you do, and then I'm going to hold you accountable. And then year 2, he's starting to kind of put his emphasis on things. And then I think by next year, there's going to be a lot of Buster's influence starting to seek its way into the major league level.
That'd be cool. Jay?
When people think Hunter Pence in their head, or at least when I think Hunter Pence in my head, I think of the swing, right? The signature swing, kind of what made you so visually noteworthy. I know you've given plenty of interviews in the past about the spinal condition specifically that you dealt with, but can you go into some level of detail about the background work that you put in to arrive at where you got to, that something actually worked well enough dealing with that to perform at the World Series winning and all-star level that you did?
Yeah, it's a great point, Justin. And when you looked as ugly as I looked, you better perform and you better produce. It was just everything was super awkward. And I didn't even know that I had the Schumann's disease. I just, I found that out when I was signing my long-term contract, because they x-ray everything and they're like, oh, this is why, because they had wanted me to work on my T-spine mobility, and I was doing the things they asked me to do. And I was like, look, this is hurting me. Every time I do that, I can't really play. Can I please stop doing that? And they're like, all right, well, you've made it this long. And then when they found that out, they're like, oh, that's why you couldn't do the T-spine mobility, because you have bone on bone. So it was just kind of I didn't know it. But as far as the work, when you have something like that and you don't know it, you can't really follow the mechanics of anyone else. But I was obsessed with baseball. It was intrinsic. I lived at the batting cage. There was no, you would have to rip me out of there. I would hit until I was exhausted, and then I would do my homework, go play ping pong. And then when I got new energy, I'd go hit again. And there was not this information out back in the day where, there's all these hitting gurus and the science and the biomechanics. You had to kind of solve it. There was a lot of mystery, a lot of secrets kept. And so I just hit all the time and slowly learned on my own through reverse engineering every day and through practice. But and that practice led to confidence, led to production on the field, led to opportunities. You start at junior college at Texarkana, go to UTA, no big school, get an opportunity in the minors, and just continue to grind. But I would say that if there was one thing that I would put as like my what made me great was just love of the game. And it was never work for me. There was nowhere else I wanted to be.
I'm going to let T ask you a question in a second, but are you still Twitch streaming video games at all?
Every now and then, not as often. But yeah, I'm still obviously, I live to play. Like baseball was a game, and I continue to play games like, between pickleball and video games that like have a ranking system. I'm always like trying to challenge myself there. I'm on Discord with my nephews. So a lot of times because I'm with my nephews and that's quality time with them, I haven't streamed it because like wouldn't want to put them on the stream, but I do stream from time to time.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I think we're going to start to get into that world. And I don't know if it's weird to play a baseball video game on Twitch, but like
I love watching that. MLB The Show is sweet, and backyard baseball.
Yes,
people stream that all the time, and it's fun.
So that's what we want to do. We want to do backyard baseball, and me personally, like I grew up on MVP 05. So if there is a world where you wanna get in the mix, then we'd love to have you as a cameo to stream some video games.
Yeah, well, hit me up. I don't play baseball games, so I'm terrible, but I would be down to get on and try. Because I do. We actually have people in our Discord that'll play backyard baseball, and we watch it on the side. So I'm a fan of watching it. So I can come in and commentate, try to get some at bats in, and see what we can do.
All right, perfect. See?
Yeah. First off, I think the first athlete I ever heard mention Magic the Gathering was you. And I'm a nerd. I wasn't a guy playing that. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, but just hearing someone who was an athlete and did something and went to card shops and did all that was pretty cool. But to me, when I first started watching baseball, you were an Astro. And to see kind of how you embraced San Francisco, and it seemed like it almost unlocked your personality to a different level, your comfort and all those things. And even you say now, you're still living out there. You're still part of the Giants family in so many ways. What was so special about San Francisco? We know the on-field stuff and you winning there, but why did it let Hunter Pence be Hunter Pence?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I don't know. It just kind of, I grew up in Texas and very, very Texan. And I just think out here, it's a little bit, wilder, a little bit crazier, a little bit more free. And I think that's just a part of my soul that I didn't even know was there until I came here. It's kind of a free-spirited place. They like things a little bit weird and quirky, and that was kind of my play style in general. And, I feel like I got to just be authentic out here, allow my weirdness to because I love Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, And not to say that like people don't love that in Texas, because I have a card shop in Texas that is that, and people love it. But for whatever reason, I just got more comfortable out here, and I do obviously love being by the ocean, and it just a creative space and free thinking. I think I'm a bit of a free spirit and somewhat, I don't want to use the term hippie or anything, but something like that.
Dallas is a hippie.
It's okay to be a hippie. It's all good. It's street legal. It's street legal. What I want to ask you, dude, is because look, I go back to 2010. You weren't there yet, but I was in the parking lot in San Francisco during their World Series run. I was at those games because newsflash, the A's were not in the World Series, so I had time to catch those games. But 2012, 2014. You're part of a run that, a triplet run of championships, and you're there at the back end. Can you think of one moment, whether it was a galvanizing moment or a moment that you knew in either one of those seasons that you said, this is where things turn around for us, and this is why we are about to do something special? Because it's not like you were world beaters in either one of those seasons, but you were able to put a run together that got you to the promised land and eventually go home with 2 of the 3 trophies in 5 years. Just an absolutely incredible moment in Giants history.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple moments, but like honestly, all of it was just like literally every fiber of your being was invested in giving everything you had. And there's obviously multiple conversations, and really I feel like the strength of those teams was collective will. And there's so many leaders on those teams and so many things that like added to kind of that perfect spice, so to speak, that makes a great dish. You have Pablo, who's wild and crazy. You have Buster and Craw and Affeld, who are very calm and water-like. And everyone kind of allowed everyone to be themselves. But I think Pablo kept us really free because he was always just like, "It's going to be okay, Poppy." And we broke the record for most eliminations games ever won. And a big part of that was that we didn't tense up. We actually like relaxed more whenever the pressure came and leaned on each other and brought everyone in to speak and called it the Council of Elders. But there was definitely moments of, Buster hits the grand slam and the one game we win the first game in Cincinnati in 2012 in the first series, which was probably the hardest one for us to get through. We win that game. Like we were getting no hit in the seventh and it scored a run on like a walk, stolen base, get him over, get him in. And then we score a run on an error from Scott Rowland, who's like, multiple Gold Glovers at third. It was just kind of like things lined up, but we pitched and we played defense, and our bullpen was insane. So it was a little bit of leaning on each other. And then obviously like Buster hit that big grand slam. We held on to that lead, but it's tough to pick one moment because there's so many challenges throughout that of everyone digging deep and everyone kind of playing their part.
Kind of like a sidebar question for you, but 2013, 2014, you played 162. Matt Olson yesterday played in his 900th consecutive game. As someone who played 162 for back-to-back seasons, like we're not even talking Ripken here. 2131 was the record, and he finished at 2632. But in today's game, Matt Olson, 900 straight games. Can you, as someone who played 162 in back-to-back years, fathom what it would take to play in 900 straight?
Yeah, it's an incredible badge of honor and a tremendous amount of respect for him. It's very difficult. I actually think that it was detrimental to me to do that because I was playing with like where I couldn't really move my back correctly, and I could have definitely. I think towards the end of 2014, Boch wanted to give me a little rest, and the last month of the season, I maybe had like 2 hits the whole month, and I was like on pace going into that month of potentially being an MVP candidate. And I literally couldn't really twist my back, but I was just like, I'm going to play through it. So a little bit of that rest, I got into the playoffs and got back to the way I was playing because you get days off in the playoffs. So for Olson and to produce and play that many games, it's insane. So it definitely takes a lot of character and resolve. For me personally, and I would never recommend it again because I think if I could have taken just 7 games off on those seasons, I think I would have been more beneficial to the team than playing every day. I think it was a little bit of a bad mindset, but I still, like Cal Ripken and Lou Gehrig and the Iron Man, as a fan, respect it and love watching it. It's impressive.
I mean, I couldn't even imagine being like, dude, I can't wait to get to the playoffs so I can get some fucking rest, man.
It's
insane.
Way more rest in the playoffs with those days off.
Yeah, no doubt.
You mentioned I'm from Texas. I'm a Texas boy. Things might be a little more buttoned up in certain areas there than they are out here in California, sans Austin, where they're keeping it weird daily. Who was somebody that you gravitated towards, whether it be personality wise, performance wise, that you felt you could either model the game after or thought that right there, that's the brand of baseball I want to play when I grow up and I become a big leaguer?
I mean, are you talking about someone like West Coast specific or just players in general that I model my game after?
I mean, like you mentioned, the idea that you are so comfortable in San Francisco is because of the free-spirited vibe that goes on not only in San Francisco specifically, but California in general. It permeates, and the West Coast for that matter. And growing up in Texas, as somebody who lived in Texas and has spent a lot of time in Texas, I very much understand the difference between the two. So for you, maybe living and growing up in a place where, the societal, I don't want to call them pressures, but the perspective is different than it is on the West Coast, you can still gravitate towards somebody and go, but you know what? Like the way that dude's doing it, I'm on board with that.
Well, I will say, like, I still love, the Texas part of me, and even Philly, like the blue collarness of Philly. I think if I was to say like the one person that I modeled my game after, I was never quite them, but I loved like Pete Rose. I was all about hustle and heart. I was never the most talented player, but I was like, I want to be here more than anyone. And I don't care how many times I lose. I don't care how many times I get beat up. I'm coming back. I want it. I want to play. I want another game and another game. And I just like, I love Charlie Hustle. And he was a bit of a free spirit. This was a wild madman, you know, and just running over catchers in the All-Star game. Like I was that competitive. I wanted to compete. But I also like personality. And I think I was very in this like, oh, you know, you need to have only black and white spikes and then I was like, wait, having a little color is fun. Creativity is fun. So I kind of like grew up into like a more like, I want creativity, fun, wildness. I want to be my hair on fire. I actually tried to make myself look as weird as possible. I was just like, I'm not cutting my hair till we win the World Series. And like, I looked like a homeless person almost. Like, I definitely think there was like, you know, you get all the memes. You know, there was pictures of people on the street and then my face next to it. And we looked the same, you know, they're my brothers.
I think we would be remiss not to ask you about the news with Mike Krukow and the Giants booth. What's your relationship with him or the impact that he's had given your relationship with the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, Krukow, in my opinion, is a tremendous mentor, leader, you know, a massive part of the ethos of the Giants, and really, you know, a one of a kind broadcaster. He's just magical with his wit, with his baseball knowledge, with his charisma. He walks into a room and changes the room. He treats everyone like a family member. Every Giants fan, he welcomes them in, and he just makes it fun. And you know, I model my broadcasting after him. You know, he inspired me with his how loose he is and how fun he is, and you know, you can never obviously duplicate what he's able to create, but I definitely think that I take a lot of inspiration and he's taken me under his wing and what he's meant to the Giants organization and how fun he's made baseball for so many years. He just is a living legend, and it is a sad time to hear that this is going to be his last season. The magic of Kruk and Kuip will live on forever, and I'm just thankful that I got to play with him and Dwayne on the call, and I get to listen these last 2 months.
Yeah,
a legend,
MVP
no doubt.
05. Dallas hot tub.
Yeah. All right, brother. We're gonna plop you down in a hot tub time machine and send you back
time machine
in time. The hot tub time. You can appreciate the hot tub time machine.
Pretty standard.
Yeah,
I never watched the movie, but I can appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I can appreciate it.
So you got futuristic bubbles popping up all around you, and we are hitting a button and blasting off back to the past to any moment in baseball history. You can bring your pour over with you. You can't be a part of this moment, but you get to watch it unfold. You get to see it. You get to experience it. What moment in baseball history and why?
Man, that's a tough question. There's probably a lot that jump off. You know, I think some of the memories, like as a kid, that you watch and you want to see is, you know, I think of like the Carlton Fisk home run. You know, I think of the Willie Mays catch. You know, the shot heard around the world for the Giants.
The
Giants win the pennant. Walk-off homers. Yeah, walk-off homers. Joe Carter with the Blue Jays. When
touch a ball, Joe.
You'll never hit a bigger home run than this. What a call. So, you know, and I hate to say this as a Giants enthusiast, the Gibson home run as well might be one you'd want to be in the stands for. And I got to be on the field, and one of the craziest moments was the Ishikawa walk-off home run to go to the World Series. Like that was like literal insanity. So that, I guess, I know you asked for one, but those would be the ones that I would want to go and see.
Perfect.
Right
on. Hunter Pence. Wow. This is hopefully the start of a beautiful content relationship together where we get to play video games one time on a stream.
Heck yeah. Hey, you guys are doing great stuff. I love the content, and thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. Hey, you're welcome back anytime.
Thanks for coming.
Please.
Yeah. Do you have a dog? Do you have a dog?
I do have a dog.
Okay, so
there we go.
If you come on,
all right.
3-time guests are eligible for the BID dog calendar.
You want to see my dog?
Yes,
well, I
please.
would love to see your dog.
Yes,
hey,
please.
Lex, is Foxy around? Can I get Foxy for a second? Be right back.
Yeah, get her over here.
She's very vicious.
I got
you know
this
he's
dog
a gamer with that chair.
I got this dog being 3.5 pounds right now. What do you got?
I'm gonna say the over/under is 19.5 pounds.
German Shepherd.
Going under, going way under.
Over.
Yeah, this dog's gonna.
The beast.
All right, so that's like
Get him, Fox. Get him, Foxy.
She's probably like 20 pounds on the dot.
She doesn't like the computer with all the lights and everything, but
No.
she is a play all day. She'll play fetch. This is Foxy Leona.
How much does she weigh?
Leona.
She's like about 17 pounds.
So
18
yeah, I
pounds.
was right in that wheelhouse. Yeah.
And she runs the show around here.
Was
you know
she
how it is.
Cavapoo?
She's Cavalier Matisse Poodle, we think. So not a Cavapoo, but I guess a Cavapoo.
Yeah. Kind of in the same realm. Yeah.
She looks like the Snuggles bear.
No doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got
so what?
the,
What month? What month do you want?
What month?
Well,
for the BID dog calendar. We got to
Yeah,
get
you
you on.
need
We
two
get you
more
on 2 more
appearances, but-
times. You're eligible for the dog calendar.
Okay,
And,
October.
yeah. Okay.
October's
like
the best
that.
month
I mean,
in
that-
the world.
Look at you.
Ah,
Look at
you
you.
know, you
Look
get
at
it.
got
you.
the multiple
You guys get
hardware,
it.
so that checks out. But all right, man. Thank you so much.
right,
We'll
take
we'll
care,
be in
guys.
touch.
All right. Hit me
See you
up.
later.
See you, brother.
Backyard baseball. Give me Pablo.
Done deal.
Love it.
That's Hunter Pence. I believe we were on Tyler Cubs Royals.
That does sound right. Yes.
Seamless.
Yeah,
we do.
right back to it.
Yes, the Cubs took 2 out of 3, and I think the big thing I wanted to highlight was just where the Cubs pitching is at this point in time. And I think this series was a good representation of the strides they made between the deadline and just simply Matthew Boyd getting healthy again. But they had played 17 games in 17 days. They went 12-5 over that stretch. And Matthew Boyd on Sunday, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 3 Ks, 3 walks, 1 home run. 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gone at least 7 innings. The only other one, 6 2/3. He's given you the length you need every single time out. Dating back to July 4th, Chicago starters have combined for a National League leading 2.91 ERA. They've thrown the most innings of any rotation in baseball over that stretch at 176 1/3. Since Boyd came off the IL, we all remember earlier in the year when everything was going wrong for that rotation. You were waiting for him to come back. It's a 2.43 ERA in 9 starts. I'm going to tell you right now, don't look at anything else. You do not want to look underneath the hood. It's not pretty, but right now the results are all that matters for the Cubs, and he's been out there performing. And we got the debut of Kevin Gausman, who went out on Friday and looked like the guy who's existed in Toronto for the last 5 years. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, 4 Ks, 1 walk, 1 home run. And you had Clay Holmes in the middle of the game who did get roughed up a little bit, but there's a lot of optimism and reason to be hopeful there. And all of a sudden, it feels like the Cubs have fixed a lot of their pitching issues. And credit to some of the guys that are there, like Shota Imanaga, Javier Assad, both have sub-2 ERAs since the start of July. David Peterson has a 4 ERA since getting traded there at the end of June. Credit to the Cubs because we see the offense rolling. Bregman's been better. Ian Happ just snapped out of a big funk. But for their pitching to get right, this is the necessary stuff for them to make a run this year. And even if you don't have an ace, give me Kevin Gausman. He's a bulldog number 2, big Nate Eovaldi vibes, and credit to Jed Hoyer. A lot of good work at the deadline.
Brewers Twins.
Oh, yes, Brewers Twins. The Brew crew took 2 out of 3 in the series with wins on Saturday and Sunday. Both of those wins were 4-3 wins, the latter of which was in extra innings. There was an even run differential across the 3 games, so it was a tightly fought battle. The Brewers have won 5 of 6. They are now a season-high 30 games over 500 at 74-44. The Twins have lost 6 of 8. They concluded their 9-game road trip 3-6. The singular individual performance story of the series is, as it usually is with the Brewers, Jacob Misiorowski, who in a very ho-hum start for himself did cross a notable threshold, the 200 strikeout threshold. If you're looking for fastest, he's the second behind Spencer Strider. But if you're just looking for a list of pitchers to get to 200 strikeouts in 22 starts, it's basically the who's who of great strikeout pitchers in baseball history. In order of accomplishing that, Bob Feller, Sandy Koufax, Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling, Chris Sale, Max Scherzer, Corey Kluber, Garrett Cole, Strider, and now Misiorowski. Back to the top, Jared.
Wow. The Marlins and Angels. Wow, they were duking it out this past weekend. Friday night, you had Mike Trout, who homered. Then you had Nolan Shonowell also hit a home run on Friday. They both homered in a 4-3 Angels win. Saturday, This was all about Sandy. Sandy Alcantara goes 7 shut, 1 walk, 8 Ks. He leads the league in innings pitched and became the Marlins franchise leader in innings pitched with his 7 shutout performance. Has a 3.52 ERA to go along with a 3.77 FIP. The Marlins, from what I was told, refused to trade the guy. I think that they were focused on this innings franchise record. They want him to be their statue guy. Because the last statue guy, they were like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. Sunday, the Marlins kicked the Angels' ass. 12-3. Griffin Conine, 2 bombs. But I feel like the story outside of the ass whipping was Kyle Stowers did have to leave the game with a left hamstring injury, which would surely be notable if he has to miss any amount of time, because the Marlins, they're still kind of in the playoff picture a little bit. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Dallas, Rays, Mariners.
Who isn't,
Right. It's true.
Rays, Mariners. Wow. What a offensive, not great offensive series for the Mariners. They got swept, boys. I think the Rays heading in one direction. The Mariners are definitely one of the 5 teams in the AL West. That's kind of how I would categorize this at this point. Game 1 was all about Drew Rasmussen. 7 shut, 8 punchies. Rays won that ball game 2-1. 2 solo homers. It was all the offense necessary. DeLuca Aranda, both of those off Gilbert, who it was a bit of a pitcher's duel to an extent. 6 2/3, 2 Ernies for Gilbert, and Julio provided all the offense for the Mariners with a homer in the 9th. But that was about it. Game 2 goes to the Tampa Bay Rays again. As we know, they swept them 3-2. They won that game. It was a bullpen day for the Rays. And all the offense for the Mariners came again from 2 solo homers, this time off the bat of one man. That was Josh Naylor. The Mariners 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position that game. That's not going to get it done. Kirby, 5 innings, 1 earned run, and the solo shot by Mesa. And in the finale, game 3, Rays over the M's 4-1. Shout out one of the most exciting dudes in baseball. You want to talk about putting pressure on the defense? I just watched it. The Red Sox tried to do it against the A's. The A's did it against the Red Sox. You saw balls getting thrown off the monster. You see what happens when you put pressure on a defense. Well, Chandler Simpson, one of those dudes. 4 for 5, scored a run. Shout out Liam Hicks. Big 2-out, 2 RBI knock. All of Tampa Bay's runs in that ball game came with 2 outs. But the take-home message here is you got to step up and get big hits in big moments if you're going to win big league ball games. And 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position in the series for the Mariners is simply not going to get it done. The Mariners swept by the Tampa Bay Rays.
Damn. Padres, Astros.
Yes, first game for the Padres did not go too well. They did take 2 out of 3. Poor Robbie Ray kind of suffered a similar fate to Casey Mize. But the big story, I think, right now with the Padres is the offense, and a guy who hit 2 homers in that series, and Jackson Merrill. Since July 1st, 35 games, 144 plate appearances. The man is slashing 316, 346, 574 for a 921 OPS. 10 homers during that stretch for a 153 WRC plus. You're getting the stolen bases. He has 5 during that stretch as well. And if we're just looking at center fielders right now, 3rd highest WRC plus of any center fielder over that stretch. Only Stephen Kwan, which feels crazy, and PCA have been better. But when we're talking about Jackson Merrill and how important he is to that organization moving forward and in the present, to see him kind of reawaken where first 2 months of the year, he looked nothing like himself. And the narratives were getting louder that we had already seen the best version of him. And it's good to see that he did finally show up. And it's what the Padres are going to need with some of their rotation concerns. But Fernando Tatis Jr. has joined in since July 1st, 868 OPS, 6 homers, 138 WRC plus. And then Manny Machado since July 1st has a 127 WRC plus. Those 3 guys, for so many months, we were asking if they were going to show up. Right now, they're doing that. And I think if you just look at their offense as a whole, 9th in WRC plus since June 1st, 4th since July 1st. They're at 10th in the month of August. But what a world of a difference that is for a team that was at the bottom of the league for, those first 2.5 months, really. And they added Austin Hayes, who's now going to be platooning with Gavin Sheets. Homered in his first AB, which was a very cool moment after getting DFA'd by the White Sox. So I like that kind of grouping. I think it makes a lot of sense as they figure out that outfield. And if you're a Padres fan looking for good news, Joe Musgrove, second rehab start through 53 pitches. He should be joining them much sooner than later, and it's been a long time coming. So, yeah, things are looking up for the Padres right now.
Jay Hay, White Sox guards.
Oh, looking up. Wouldn't that be cool? Speaking of looking down, though, it's the Guardians. The White Sox won back-to-back and took the series from Cleveland. That follows a 4-game losing streak for the White Sox. Cleveland, on the other hand, the losing hasn't stopped, probably won't stop. They've lost 5 of 6. The only team with a worse record in the second half of the season in Major League Baseball is, respectfully, sir, the A's at 6-16. The Guardians are 7-15. Murakami, I should note for the White Sox, because I'm basically going to make this all about the Guardians. Murakami has a 25-game on-base streak, tied for the longest active streak in the majors right now. I feel like he's almost gone a little bit under the radar since his return from injury, where before their injury, there was no under the radar for Murakami. Since then, I think mostly because it's been about getting on base and not so much about the long balls for him is probably why he's a little bit under the radar. But nevertheless, active 25-game on-base streak. Back to the Guardians, though. They had a 62% chance to make the postseason going into the All-Star break. That number is 35% following the series loss to the White Sox. T? Jared?
Back to me. That would be the Cardinals and the Rockies. Wow. The Cards win a 1-run game, 3-2 on Friday night. Ivan Herrera hit a home run. Saturday, the Rockies even the series with an 8-6 win. Jake McCarthy, couple home runs as part of a 4-hit game. Yes. I want to say, I don't want to just throw this label on him, but I want to say he might be a BID guy as well. There's a few Rockies that are BID guys. I know that. I want to say Jake McCarthy's one of them.
I like him better already.
Yep. And then on Sunday, the series finale, it was a rubber match between the Cards and Rockies. Cardinals take the series. J.J. Weatherholt, 2-run double in the 8th inning to go up 6-4 at the time. They ultimately win 7-4. Another 4-hit game for Herrera. The Cards are back to 500, so that puts them a half game back of the Marlins, 2.5 back of the Padres, and 3.5 back of the Phillies and D-backs for that third wild card spot. So, wow, things are fucking tightening up over there. Dallas Reds Nats.
Reds Nats was definitely a series that was played over the weekend. The Nats.
It's exactly what I thought when I said that's the right series for Dave.
The Nats swept that series as well. And for whatever it's worth, the Reds, look, just 6 out of the wild card, right? So there's still a fair chunk amount of season left. I mean, I got a few guys who experience what it's like to get a horseshoe rammed directly up your ass and go on one of the luckiest runs in baseball history. So you know that you could win baseball games at a clip big enough to get you back into the conversation. With that being said, game 1 did not go the Reds' way. It sure did not. Kate Cavalli was very good on the mound, 6 innings, 3 earnings, 8 punch-outs. The bullpen for the Nats was lights out after that. And this was sort of a Dalen Lyle a homecoming, if you will. Kids from Louisville, he balled out in game 1, 2 for 4, 3-run jack, a double. Game 2 kind of hurt the heart a little bit because you guys know how much I love Chase Burns. Chase Burns saw his record plummet all the way to 13-2 now. 5+ innings in every outing this season for Chase Burns. That did not change. However, in 5+ innings every outing, he's only given up more than 3 earned runs in just 3 of those outings. And each and every one of those 3 outings, he's given up 5 earned runs. And that's kind of what happened here. Chaparro, shout out Chaparro, who came off the bench for the Nats, couple knocks, drove in 3. And I think, and Lyle had another RBI now that I think about it. And really it was all about clutch hitting. And I'll get to that in a minute. But the Nats in this ball game, 6 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And then game 3, although Brady Singer pitched well enough to win the ball game, you can't win a ball game if you get swept. And remember, that's what happened. He went 6, 3 earnings, 3 punch outs, but the bullpen gave up the ass. And the Reds only mustered 1 run against the Nats pen. Over this series, the Nats as a group hit over 500 with runners in scoring position, hit 542 and Dalen Lyle over the series. 417, a homer, a double, drove in 5, all in front of the hometown crowd. Remember, he's from Louisville. So folks said, hey, we're going to walk across the bridge, walk into Ohio, and watch our boy ball out. And that's exactly what Dalen Lyle did.
That sounded like a Philly accent to me.
They're close.
Jays and Phillies, T.
Yes, it's mostly going to focus on Friday's game. I have a quick Jose Soriano thought before we get into one of the bigger stories of the weekend, it felt like. But Jose Soriano made his Blue Jays debut, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 K, 3 walks. I just thought there were a lot of interesting tweaks they're already making over there, and credit to the Blue Jays pitching lab. They've done a lot of positive things in recent years. But in terms of first pitch strikes, 17 to 20 batters, and his knuckle curve, Jay Hay had a good tweet about it the other day, about it having the highest whiff percentage of that specific pitch type. And if you kind of just look, yes, I just lost my AirPod mid-cooking. But if you kind of looked at his usage overall, 38% in this start, up 12% on his yearly usage. So leaning into his strengths more and more, got 12 whiffs on that pitch alone. Velocity was up almost a full tick on it. Is that simply just because he was feeling it? Maybe, but the Blue Jays are molding him, and we'll see what happens with Jose Soriano, but he could be a very, very interesting arm going forward for them, especially if they can even elevate him a little bit from the version we saw earlier this season. But the guy on the other side, the man Zack Wheeler he faced, ended up getting into some pretty big drama back and forth with the Blue Jays and sent some pretty awesome shots. But it wasn't a great outing for Zack Wheeler, 4 earned and 5 1/3. There was a moment, though, where the Blue Jays earlier in the game, they had went out and said essentially that his pivot foot was not touching the rubber. There was nothing called at that point in time. David Popkins ends up getting ejected later in the game, who's their hitting coach. He was upset, shutout driveline. He is a big driveline guy, but was really going after Wheeler, and Wheeler wasn't taking it, saying, fuck you right back, sending it all their way, did not hesitate. And then after the game, just absolutely dunked on him and said, well, they don't have many losses, or they don't have a lot of wins this year. So these are the things they're kind of looking for at this point in time. Don Mattingly has talked about it over the last 24 hours or so and said himself that there was a moment in June, I believe June 21st, against the Mets, where he had heard from the league and they said that there were some questions about whether he was touching the rubber. They sent a video with a different camera angle showing he was. Where the Phillies camera angle is at home can be a bit deceiving at times. Since then, baseball Twitter has gone nuts like they usually do, finding examples that make him look guilty, others finding examples that don't. But I think we're all hoping to hear Dallas's thoughts, right? Because that's a man who can, is this a real thing? Is this kind of being nitpicky, or do they have somewhat of a case against him?
And I actually got bitched at about this on 2 different fronts. One, because I absolutely used to try to get as far, like when I knew I was coming over, meaning I'm going to be picking over here, and it was against maybe a speedier guy, I would try to close the gap as much as I could on the rubber between me and first base. And I was somebody who pitched from the extreme third base side of the rubber. And I don't have a shoe in here. But the
Wheeler's on the first base side in this scenario, right?
Right. Well, but think about it. Wheeler's right-handed, and he's creating the same angle as a righty that I am creating as a lefty from the third base side of the rubber. So if you think about a cleat, right? If this is my foot and my middle finger being the toe and the spike on the toe, that spike is never engaged with the rubber. Okay. It's never engaged with the rubber. It's the spike on the outside, or my pinky, that's really kind of located right here or so on the cleat pad. That's the spike that you can engage the rubber with, or have in the dirt pushing up and / off against the rubber. You're never on top of the rubber, because the pitching plate can be slick at times and you can spin out as you start to sink into your hinge and then drive down the slope. So that could be dangerous. That could fuck you up. But what I would do is, trying to pick off, I would cover up the corner of the mound, or cover up the corner of the pitching rubber with dirt so that it kind of goes away. You can't really see it from anywhere. And then I would try to get my heel as far to the end of that as possible. So now I'm as close to first base as I possibly could. And people would bitch about that. And they would also bitch about me being far off on the third base side. And it's because they think that you're disengaged. I don't know why they would bitch about me. It's not like I'm overpowering anybody. It's not like my shit was anywhere near Zack Wheeler's, but it does just become something that you try to play a mental game with, of sorts. So It is a absolute nothing burger. There is nothing going on here. That's why Major League Baseball got their shots and said, oh, got it, clarified. Because really all it takes is a direct overhead shot for you to see where that backside of the foot is in conjunction to the rubber. He is integrated, and it's nothing to concern yourself with at all. But it is, to his point, something that people can start to look at and bring up because they're trying to throw him off his game.
Before I do Braves Yankees, can I ask you a social acceptance question? Like, is it weird to have the hitting coach yelling at the pitcher in that situation like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Because that's think about it. No, not at all. But like, think about it. If you think about a baseball staff, a coaching staff, in terms of like separate platoons, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to have beef with whom? And my pitching platoon might have beef with your hitting platoon if I think you are picking up signs and transferring signs and picking signs and shit.
It's his guys getting fucked, right?
That's my guy getting fucked. So now here's this dude out here, and maybe not in this instance specifically, but this guy is shoving it up my hitter's ass right now. I need to try to do, as the general, as the lieutenant of this platoon, I need to try to do everything I can to keep my guys in the fight. And if that means fucking dangling something over here to get your attention and piss you off, while my other guys kind of flank you and come around and actually start chipping away at you, then so be it. I'll be the dude who goes out on my shield so that the rest of the boys have a fighting chance. So it's, in terms of socially acceptable in the baseball world, it would be weird if it was somebody else. Does that make sense?
Coach, whatever. Yeah, sure.
Because the pitching coach goes, hey, dude, I might take a look at this. And then that's where the hitting coach goes, all right, hey, you son of a, that's kind of how that goes.
Right. Got it. Yeah, because you don't want to ruffle feathers in the pitching fraternity, right? You might see those.
Well,
down the road.
you just, what do we always say? You make, hey, you make sure your house is clean too, because that's the reason why we don't talk about the sticky stuff is I'm not going to be the pitching coach that puts your guy on blast, because then what am I doing? I'm now opening up the opportunity for my guys to get put on blast.
That felt like John Schneider, who was walking very, very carefully around this subject, around the questioning, all of it. There was no smoke after the game. It was, hey, we just saw something and we just wanted to say something to let them know, and we left it up to their decision and what they thought. It's like, okay.
Let's not open that.
We're just following paperwork protocol.
That's it. Yeah. We're just making sure we're all doing the same thing here. Everyone's on the same page.
It says right here on the posted rules that we have to file this. Braves, Yankees. Yankees took 2 of 3 with wins on Friday and Saturday. Braves salvaged with a win on Sunday. Both Friday and Sunday went to 10 innings, and every game was decided by 1 run. The Braves, despite the overall series loss, are 9-2 in their last 11 games. Conversely, although separately, the Yankees are 2-9 in extras this season, which is presumably mostly bad luck, but still bad luck that has happened. And they have not won or lost more than 3 in a row at any point in the second half. However, pulling back, takeaway time. My takeaway from this series is a point I've stubbornly been making all season, which is that the idealized version of the New York Yankees from a pitching perspective is absolutely devastating and absolutely World Series winning or World Series arriving caliber. Max Fried, Garrett Cole, and Cam Schlittler lined up for this series, and all 3 of them delivered. Fried, 6 1/3, 0 runs. Cole, 7 innings, 2 runs. Schlittler, 7 innings, 1 run, with those 0 walks and 11 strikeouts. On the whole, 20 1/3 innings pitched, 3 runs, 2 walks, 27 strikeouts. It's absolutely what everybody who has been optimistic about the Yankees' World Series chances has been visualizing for the entire season, and they delivered, and they took a series from the Braves. Just one series, but if you're looking for an example of what the Yankees could do in a short series with or without Aaron Judge, this is it. But we're all waiting to hear Dallas Braden's opinion on the Chris Sale thing. Was that horseshit too?
So this is what's tough is it technically it's not horseshit, and it's because you are supposed to confirm from hitter to hitter, because maybe like if I want to go from the stretch with 1 out and I want to go, or with nobody out, and I want to go from the stretch with 1 out, and then I want to go from the windup with 2 outs, I have to let you know that, right? Because with 2 outs, you might say to yourself, I'd rather have the momentum going down the slope and just for whatever different reasons, I'm comfortable doing this with 2 outs. That's where you see guys with bases loaded, less than 2 outs, go from the stretch, especially when you get into a full count. Because the last thing I want to do, if you guys do decide for whatever reason to fucking put the runners on the move with less than 2 outs and bases loaded, I mean, that means you're telling your guy on first and guy on second to get aggressive in their secondaries because a strikeout could very well mean a back pick to either one of those bases. So to prevent anybody from getting an egregious lead, I'm going from the stretch because I might fucking back pick you at second base, but I eliminate that if I'm going from the windup. And those are reasons why, for just pure understanding of everybody, hey, he is going from the stretch this time. He is going from the windup this time. So I think whether or not you know that as a pitcher or whether that's been communicated or not, I think it might be just a learning period or a learning moment, like, oh shit. And Chris Sale, I think by all accounts, just wasn't aware that he had to do that, right? That he had to declare from hitter to hitter. What I absolutely love is that Chris Sale in the moment was able to button it up to the extent where he was able to remain in the ball game. And then the next day decided, you know what? Mind if I have a little chat with you? I want to let you know that's horse shit. Right? I'd like to let you know that that's fucking trash. And he was promptly asked to leave the dugout. Like, sorry, can't do that. So you're gonna have to go take this one in from the clubhouse. No problem. But that's veteran savvy right there, right? That's veteran savvy. Warm day game. Don't know if I want to be out here all day. I might want to take this in from the air-conditioned environment of the clubhouse. Hey, John, here's why you're an asshole. All right? Here's why I don't agree with that. So shout out Chris Sale for having the wherewithal to not screw his team by getting ejected in the moment and actually waiting till the next day to take care of business and express his displeasure with the situation.
I saw that I didn't see an actual ejection. I know I got a notification about it, but like when he was still talking about it the next day, did he get ejected for that? The next day?
Yeah.
That's
before the game.
Before the game. Yeah. Like, and
I saw
I don't
him have
know
a conversation, but it was just like
one of my favorite things, and you'll see this, like, and you see it more like when you're in the dugout and you can see, because you're like in the dugout, you're kind of locked into any conversation that the umpire's having. Anytime the game stops for any moment whatsoever, why? What's going on? Why? And sometimes it's the calm conversation and the umpire, like it's a nice exchange, and you say the wrong thing, and the umpire is just looking at you, and they're going like this. Right? And but it's the little gesture, right? Like, okay, you're out for that, like throwing you out.
Yeah, you're fucking gone, buddy.
I understand you're heated, like, please. Yeah. Go on. Yeah. And or you just see the look at the manager's face or whoever, he's like looking at him like, and then you get the almost disappointed look, like,
yeah, like,
okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like those are my favorite, because trust me, it's not lost on any of us that there have been guys that have gone out there with the full intention of getting thrown out. Like, and the umpires will admit too, like, I know he wanted to come out there and I know he was trying to get ran, and me not running him would piss him off even more. No, you're going to sit here and you're going to fucking watch this and you're going to wear every bit of this. You say whatever you want to me right now. I don't care. Get your ass back to the dugout.
It felt like he was walking that line too in the actual start. Because he gets back on the mound and he's like, what's the count? And he goes, you sure about that? And then it just breezed by. They keep it moving. And I'm like, okay. Like, he hasn't stepped over it, but it was just enough control. But I love, like, picturing in my head the idea that he drove home. He bitched about it when he got home. He was sitting in bed. He was pissed about it. He showed up at the ballpark, said, that was fucking bullshit, and then got it out afterwards. You don't get that in other parts of life. So shout out Chris Sale. First ejection since August 3rd, 2019 against the Yankees.
I love my favorite thing about Chris Sale.
I was at that game.
He got like smoked, like he was getting destroyed.
Yeah, he was. I think it was against Luis Severino, and I think as he was getting taken out of the game, he was motherfucking the ump, and he got ejected after he was already coming out anyway. Yeah.
I just will always appreciate Chris Sale just fucking Edward Scissorhandsing the uniforms.
One of the craziest storylines to ever do it.
He is a guy, though. We know, like, there's a crazy aspect, the Worcester meltdown. Like, it rarely comes out, but when it does, man, it is not the guy you want to be around when it happens.
I love it. Love it.
Chris Sale, I'm looking at on Kalshi, I'm looking at the NL Cy Young winner. What would you say his representation is for the NL Cy Young this year? Percentage wise.
Like just the
yeah. What share do you think he has?
13%.
No, I was gonna say maybe around 10%. Maybe I say like 7 to 10%.
Jay?
Probably
11.
close to Sanchez. I'd say him and Sanchez are similar. 11, you fucking
Him and Sanchez have the exact same percentage. You are correct.
What's the number?
What is it?
Oh, nailed it.
Jacob Misiorowski, 84%.
Yeah. Bro, do you guys see this
the hardware in the National League as Kalshi users are forecasting right now?
How about this? Listen to this. I'm sure you guys saw this tweet, but I've just been like boggled when I think about this. 100+ mile-an-hour pitches, 100 mile-an-hour plus pitches this season. Jacob Misiorowski, 786 of them. That leads baseball. 101 mile-an-hour plus pitches, 542. That leads all of baseball. 102+ mile-an-hour pitches, 280 of them. That leads all of baseball. 103 mile-an-hour pitches, 119 of those. That too leads all of baseball. Oh, we're not done. 104+ mile-an-hour pitches, 19 of them. That also leads all of baseball. That is fucking insanity. Just absolute insanity. I mean, quick math. What are we talking about? 1,500+ pitches. Well north of 100 miles an hour. I mean, how many? Who's thrown the most pitches in baseball this year? Right? Like, what's that number? Probably
that's a good
2,000, 2,500 or so.
Sandy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sandy, maybe Sanchez. Let's see who has thrown the most
I would say
pitches this season.
Those two.
Sandy nailed it. Wow. Sandy, Jesus, Luzardo, Christopher Sanchez. We were all over that. Props to us. Continue on.
Yeah, but just the idea that Jacob Misiorowski has thrown like roughly the same amount of pitches ish, all over 100 miles an hour. Bro, that is wild. Wild. Absolutely wild. With the fact that he just got to the 200 punch out mark, right? Like I don't know what the math checks out. I haven't even thought about this. I'm just spitballing as we're talking about it. But like how long, oh man, I don't know. Like how long do you think he can sustain this? Like, is he going to be throwing 105 10 years from now?
No.
I don't. I have a hard time believing it'll be that. To me, the more interesting thing is where does it top out? Like, where are we going to see him hit the ceiling? Like, how far can he bring it? And I think he said, like, he thought 105 was about where he would hit that wall. And we have 105.5 this year. Is he going to have a day where he hits 106 or 107? Is it a playoff moment where he is able to get another tick? That to me is like what I'm sitting and I think waiting for, because I think as he matures, he's going to become smarter and smarter about when to pick his spots with it. And he should only grow more physically. Like, this is not the finished body version of him by any means.
But Milky, what I'm like, where my brain is going is Nolan Ryan pitched more seasons in the big leagues than Jacob Misiorowski has years of life on earth at this point. And how long, like, I swear to God, and I feel this way even to this day, and I know it's not true, but I feel like if you gave Nolan 6 weeks, he could go grab 90 for you right now, right? Like, that's the mythology behind Nolan Ryan. So how hard he was throwing at the very tail end of his career. Talk about a dude who pitched over 4 fucking decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, how long does Jacob Misiorowski need to play when he's punching people out at this rate to be in that conversation? To like, I mean, I know we feel like that strikeout record, who's going to pass that, right? Who's passing?
Well, it's not anybody who's ever pitching again.
I mean, just because of their ability to finish ball games, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think what his peak velocity ends up being, like the number that he hits, is obviously interesting. Why that feels a little bit like inevitably like a little less than you want it to be is because we will not know that it's the highest that he hits until after the fact, right? Until we know that he's no longer going to hit that mark again. And like, given how pitcher velocities generally tend to age, and I'm not jumping to this, is he's not done in this era yet, obviously, but like where we go from here, from a decline in velocity and a maturation as a pitcher, that to me is the next interesting thing from Misiorowski, because I'm not going to put a limit on him. He has already exceeded my wildest expectations, of course, but there is a possibility, and I think it would be healthy if we acknowledged and appreciated the fact that it might not ever get better than this, right? Like, this is as basically as dominant as pitching gets. And while he keeps pushing that envelope in the modern sense forward, and there may be more room, it's also possible that like this is the peak of what Jacob Misiorowski is, because this is basically the peak of what pitching looks like. And like, I'm not looking to transition to a different subject, but the fact that Hunter Greene is now undergoing the knife again, and he was kind of like the pre-Misiorowski standard bearer for 100-mile-an-hour pitches, sustained velocity as a starter. I'll use that loosely with Hunter Greene, but like it's pretty clear at this point, we're never getting the optimized version of Hunter Greene. And so like, I live in a world where I'm also appreciating that this might be the optimized version of Misiorowski, at least in terms of this version of him, I guess.
And there's some things that go into that, right? Number one, understanding how we have continued to move the measurement forward. And when I say that, I mean quite literally, we are picking up ball speed out of the hand, which is as soon as we have ever measured ball speed. And so that has set the standard. And that's where I think guys, old school guys, their argument comes in is, hey, when I was pitching, you were telling me how hard I threw based on where the ball was crossing home plate. And what we're measuring today is the ball quite literally coming out of your hand, and we're picking it up right then and there. That's as fast as the ball will ever be. And that's what you guys are measuring today. So that's where I think old school guys feel slighted when you're telling them that you didn't throw that hard. It's like, well, there are some guys who probably were generating quite a bit of velocity, who were outliers, just like Miz is right now. What I gravitate towards, or what I think about, is this dude is damn near 8 feet down the slope by the time he lets the ball go. And he's 6'7", and that's what assists in that. So the idea of this being as Milky, you fucking, as the idea that this is the peak, like that's how many guys are his size doing what he's doing, right? Like Tully's not a small dude.
But his velocity, you see, it was up a tick and a half, and it's like, oh, he becomes unhittable. Like, that's how close it is. If he just has an extra tick with the extension, with what he already throws, he reaches this level that is something most hitters have never seen before. And that's why with Misiorowski, it's like he's 0.3 from throwing the hardest pitch we've ever seen behind Chapman. Like, the day we get that, and I really hope we do, it's going to be a social media moment, just like the Chapman video, which gets posted by every baseball aggregating account once a day at this point. Like, that's why I starve for that in that way.
Well, and I do. I believe it's I mean, kind of like you guys saw Gage jump, right? 99 late in the outing. Fucking here it is. Whack! It's going to be a moment like that where there's guys on base, postseason time, and he's going, you know what's been playing my entire life? Me rearing back and throwing this bitch as hard as I can by you. And here's fucking 107.
Yeah, just imagine it popping up, and the hitter looks like, whoa, like, what the fuck was that?
Well,
like,
that's where you just go, like, what do you want me to do? That's 107. Nobody even saw that.
Ohtani out there, you're feeling it to the utmost juices. It's all of it. Like, give me that. I need it this year.
Yeah,
well,
That's been on my brain since I saw that. I was like, my God, dude, really?
You know what's been on my brain?
Hey, he's pounding that ass. What's up?
Ridge wallets. Yep. Genuinely excited about this one because Ridge finally forced me to stop carrying around the same wallet that I've had since the Obama administration. My old wallet was disgusting. Just this giant leather brick filled with expired credit cards, old hotel key, room keys, receipts from 2019. I'm pretty sure I had a Dave & Buster's power card in there somewhere.
You got rid of that?
Huh?
You got rid of it?
I did. I do have, though. I still have my room key from the Barstool Hotel in Miami for the Super Bowl 2020. I keep that in my wallet because I cut my tins with it. So I do still have some useless cards in there. I was basically carrying around a filing cabinet in my pocket. The Ridge wallet is ridiculously thin. It looks awesome, and somehow it still holds up to 12 cards plus cash. I have the MagSafe matte black Ridge wallet, but they have more than 50 colors and styles, including aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. They also have RFID blocking technology, so apparently digital pickpocketers were something I needed to worry about. I didn't know that those existed, but fuck those guys. Ridge has over 100,000 five-star reviews, and everything comes with a lifetime warranty. So theoretically, this is the last wallet that I'll ever have to buy. Go to ridge.com, use the promo code BID, and get 10% off your order. That's ridge.com, promo code BID for 10% off. And when they ask where you heard about Ridge, tell them that we, over here at BID, tell them that we sent you. Appreciate you guys. So this would be the part of the podcast where we would throw to the Hunter Pence interview, but it already happened.
Au natural, you know?
Yeah, it already happened. So T, you want to talk about Waking 180?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And one of the things, that isn't on my mind much anymore is food. And that's thanks to Awaken 180, because in the past, I didn't realize how much food was part of my life, how I was constantly negotiating in my head about, could I fit this into my diet? Could I do that? No, it's all gone. There's no more of a pregame show and a postgame breakdown to whatever meals I'm having, because just over, or a little over now, 2 months into Awaken 180, I am down 33 pounds. I've lost weight every week, and food takes up less space in my head. The app gives me the numbers, so I'm getting calories, protein, carbs, all of that stuff, and the plan tells me exactly what I need to do. Every Friday, I meet with someone from the Seekonk location who looks at the picture, breaks it all down for me. Last week, it was Jenna. Jenna gave me tips, showed me where I could tighten things up, and set me into the next week with a better approach. One of the big things I didn't realize last week, I was looking for something to do with my mouth. I know that sounds crazy, but I was chewing gum, and I had forgot that I wasn't allowed to have gum on this diet, and it could slow how I was losing my weight. Well, Jenna immediately clocked me the minute I walked through the door, made me spit it out, and got me back on track so I wasn't making that same mistake again. And that's what I like. It's not one person handing me a plan and disappearing. It's a team of people working to help me succeed. My cravings are way down. I'm sleeping better, and I'm down a full shirt size and 2 pant sizes. Awaken 180 is medication-free weight loss with free support for life. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, the official weight loss company, the Boston Red Sox, and one more time, awaken180weightloss.com.
Thank you, T.
Thank you.
Man, the Hunter Greene news sucks. Season-ending surgery. Jay, hey, what do you got on Hunter Greene?
This is a broad, we sort of already talked about this, but I do wonder whether this changes and maybe it shouldn't, but whether this changes the math on an Elly De La Cruz trade coming this offseason, because I don't think the Reds ever had any real path to serious contention or maybe even a sustained all-star run. But if you are cutting the legs out of half of your vaunted front of the rotation, your electric Burns Greene combination, I just don't. It's an incredibly depressing injury because Hunter Greene is electric to watch. He is incredibly important to the Cincinnati Reds moving forward. And I don't care about the Reds' finances, but they do owe him money, and they don't have a lot of extra money to work with the way that their budget works. And it is inevitable now, with this being the second such injury and surgery that we're never going to see the optimized, as I said, fully realized version of Hunter Greene moving forward. And that's extremely disappointing from a general baseball perspective, as a mega prospect, former top draft pick. And it's also just absolutely devastating for the Reds. Whatever their hopes were, it is devastating for those hopes.
Not great.
I will say it's interesting to hear that there were trade conversations involving him right around the deadline. That was right, like that was floating out there.
I wonder how real those are now. Like, because I mean,
did they never get to the point of even medicals? You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, or maybe was this? Maybe it actually lends credence to the idea that there were trade conversations, because maybe this was found because they had to do a little extra diligence. We're moving towards a trade, like we need, whatever, I don't know. But it's to go from, we may consider trading Hunter Greene for, what would have been a fairly sizable return, I think, to losing him for the rest of this meaningless season. But more importantly, the 27 season is, as I said, devastating.
Well, good news is he'll have a long time to rehab and rest and recover, and probably not miss many games.
Oh, fuck off.
I just had like a quick thing on the Royals picking up Craig Kimbrel.
Yeah.
I feel is there like a I know Jay Hay feels some certain type of way about this, but like a Hall of Fame caliber reliever that has just bounced around, like part of me is like, I'm not going to tell him to call it a career. I respect the fact that he's clinging on to if you're a Major League Baseball team and you will give me an opportunity, I'll take it. Like, this guy has made his money. He's won his championships. He has his accolades. He has a Hall of Fame resume, and he could just ride off into the sunset. I guess it's more of a question for Dallas. Do you respect that he just keeps signing with teams and he'll take any opportunity that he can get? Or is part of you as the former player, it's like, you got to rip the jersey off my back? Or it's like, dude, you've made your point. Like, you have the resume, like just
who would, so I just think about whatever it is that gets your juices going. Think about whatever it is that motivates you to wake up and feel fulfilled as a human being. And this is where it can be maybe sad at times to think about. But what you have to understand is, if you are still physically capable and physically able, and the opportunities present themselves, then who are any of us, who is anybody to tell another person to stop the pursuit of their happiness? And if this is what makes Craig Kimbrel happy, which is just showing up to the ballpark, and this is where I think it's a lesson in being in love with the process and not necessarily the result. And look, straight up, and we could ask Hunter Pence about this because he's a big coffee guy. Part of getting a pour over ready, if you are familiar with the coffee process, right, is the grinding of the beans, is the preparation of the filter, is pouring the coffee in, the waiting, and then the drip. Like, it's the process for all you folks who like to get baked, right? You want to flip one, it's putting the butt in the grinder, breaking it up, rolling it up. It's that process that is almost just as fulfilling as the end result. And for Craig Kimbrel, getting ready in the morning to go to the ballpark, anticipating what you're going to see, feel, hear, do at the ballpark, is just as much of part of what gets him up in the morning as hearing the phone ring, being told to get up, understanding where his pockets are in the lineup, and going out and attacking and being deployed like a weapon. There's nothing that replaces that. And that's where guys struggle at the end of their careers, is to find something that replaces that. And so whether that's still being around the game in some capacity where you can pass on the lessons you've learned, for me, having the opportunity to just be at a big league ballpark, watch big league baseball, share stories and break it down on TV, with the opportunity to go out and talk to guys and work with guys, like, I don't know how else I would necessarily replace that right away. And I do have other interests. but that's what gets you up in the morning. And that's what gets you excited. And so if you have the ability to do that, I couldn't imagine taking that away from yourself when you're not ready to take that away from yourself.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. He wasn't awful with Tampa. Like, he's obviously not going to be the back end of the bullpen guy, but he punched out 17 and 18 and 2/3.
He's chasing something different, though. This isn't Kenley, and they're the same age. And like Kenley clearly wants to chase saves. That's why he was doing this job. That's all he was looking for. Craig Kimbrel hasn't had a save since 2024. He's not going to, more likely than not, get any more saves in his career. And if he gets a couple here and there, they're not going to change the outlook or the perspective. So it really is him just wanting to go out there and compete and try to win and try to be part of a team and do whatever he wants. And that's why, like, at first, I did feel like, all right, man, hang it up. But like, if he's chasing this and he wants to go after it, and the fact that he was willing to go to the minors, to me, that's the thing.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys that aren't willing to go down there and eat it and, deal with whatever ego stuff happens in that department with what he's, gone through in his career. And he was willing to do that. So if that guy is willing to do that, who are you to tell him what he can or can't chase? Because he's going to do everything he can to keep competing. Good for you.
I also think there's something to the idea that, like, there are obviously relievers in the Hall of Fame, but there is a reckoning coming with relievers going into the Hall of Fame that the sport is going to have to, because right now it's basically just the greatest relief pitchers of all time, right? And like, I personally don't think that Kenley Jansen is like one of the inner circle greatest relievers of all time. And I don't think Kimbrel is that either, but like, these guys there's probably something to them where it's like, because of the nature of their position, there's always going to be a team that is willing to give them something of a job, right? Something of a job. Like, if you're willing to go to the minors, they could probably pitch forever. Name value, chasing the Hall of Fame, like the fact that reliever, you can catch lightning in a bottle with reliever, and you can get these renaissance seasons, these great 25, 30 inning stretches out of these guys. I wonder whether 10 years from now, when relief pitchers have inevitably been accepted as Hall of Fame, this is not my opinion, this is just how it's going to go. When relief pitchers are more commonly accepted as Hall of Fame candidates, and we get more and more of those in there, I wonder whether some of these guys, like a Jansen that Tyler pointed out, who is sticking on for saves, will be less compelled to do that because they feel less pressure to rack up the saves because people will have already appreciated their candidacy. That's not me reading into anything. That's more just kind of an aside.
No, and I'm very interested for that moment in time, because I think that will really signal a shift in how we are valuing and evaluating the overall performances. And I think that starts to really change the way that these guys are valued in the now. And I would love to see that maybe shift towards compensation, because if we understand, I think that's something that has a trickle down effect, where if you see these guys acknowledge, well, I mean, because what is Kenley chasing? Kenley wants to be the only member of the 500 save club, right? Obviously not getting to 600. So he wants to be the only one that has 500 saves under his belt, because if Errorless Chapman, who will probably log his 400th save by the end of this season, he'll become now one of 6 guys, I think, that has 400 plus saves. So Kenley would be in a class all his own, and obviously short of the class of Trevor Hoffman and Mo. So that's what these dudes are after. And that's where, what's that?
Chapman would be the 9th to have 400 plus.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying just 400, not 500.
Existing in it today.
Yes. Got it.
Yeah, because
this is a separate conversation too. I know we're going to move on and go to final thoughts, but comparing these three to each other when their career assessments come down the line, those three being Chapman, Kimbrel, and Jansen, I think is also going to be very interesting, because whenever I look, I'm less and less convinced that I have the right answer on whose career is the greatest, to the extent that even matters. But anyway,
Okay. Jay, do you have some award-winning Nugs?
I do. First of all, I'd like to direct everybody to the BID Patreon, where, of course, because it's a Monday, we had, I didn't publish it until it was past lunchtime or past breakfast. So we're calling it a Monday Nuggets lunch today. But we have Peyton Tolley, we have Gage Jump, we have Cam Schlittler, PCA, S. Merlin Valdez, a bunch of other stuff. Go check that out. Mike Trout, .484 OPS and a .156 batting average with 1 homer and 1 little RBI since July 27th. That comes with a strikeout rate that sits just below 40%. He had an .866 OPS through his first 87 games this season. This is other research I was doing, but it's never boring to share a Randy Johnson nugget. 10 strikeout games by left-handed pitchers from 1997 to 2004. Randy Johnson had 136 such starts. The next best left-hander had 15. 136 to 15. PCA, it was Johan, by the way, at 15. P. Crow Armstrong, he sits at a nice even 8.0 F4 entering play on Monday. You must be wondering, that seems like a lot. It is. How about some context? Last season, Aaron Judge was at 7 F4 on August 10th. He won the AL MVP. Cal Raleigh, in his famous 60-homer season, was at 6.6 F4. And Ohtani, the eventual NL MVP winner, factoring in his pitching as well, which he had started to at this point last year, was at 6.2 F4. So PCA just doing some incredible things right now. This is more poetic than anything, but 10 years ago on August 10th, the NL position player in F4 was also a Cub. It was Chris Bryant. His mark really looks like shit now compared to Pete Crow Armstrong. It was only 5.2 wins above replacement. Guy kind of sucked, even though he went on to win the MVP that year. PCA, again, doing things that basically no one else in baseball history have done. Peyton Tolley, 6 innings pitched, 1 run, 0 walks, 14 strikeouts on Friday. I know T had a pitches-based nugget earlier. He's the 3rd youngest left-handed pitcher in MLB history with a 0-walk, 14K performance. The only younger pitchers, Vida Blue and Frank Tanana, back in the 70s. He's the youngest, the only Red Sox pitcher to produce a 0-walk, 14 strikeout performance at a younger age than Tolley is Roger Clemens, who did so twice, once in August of '84 and again in April of 1986. Just an incredible performance. Gage Jump, 6 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts. The youngest A's pitcher with 11 or more strikeouts in an outing since Barry Zito, almost exactly 25 years ago, August 20th of 2001. Our boy Cam Schlittler, he did it. Positive regression, baby. 0 walks, 11 strikeouts. 3rd start this season featuring at least 0 walks and 11 or more strikeouts, becoming the 5th pitcher in Yankees franchise history to have 3 starts of 0 walks and 11 or more strikeouts in the same season, joining Cole in 21, Tanaka in 17, Musina in 01, and David Cone in 1998.
They should have lost that
Jesus,
game, by the way.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Jesus Luzardo, this is the second to last nugget. Jesus Luzardo had a 12K performance on Sunday. It's his 5th start this season with 10 or more strikeouts. That coincidentally is the same number of 10K performances that his teammate Christopher Sanchez has delivered this season. This took a lot of manual research, so please enjoy it. But Luzardo and Sanchez are the first pair of southpaw teammates in MLB history to each have at least 5K starts in the same single season. So in terms of lefty dominance, in that sense, swing and miss, we have never seen a combination like Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo. And lastly, we'll wrap up with PCA. He again sits at 8.0 F4. It's the highest F4 mark by an NL player on August 10th of a given season since Barry Bonds in 2002, when he had 8.2 F4, and his current lead over Dylan Dingler at 5.6. That's the second best position. I wonder what odds you could have gotten on PCA and Dylan Dingler being the top 2 position players in F4 on August 10th. Anyway, the gap is 2.4 wins above replacement right now. That would be the 4th largest gap between the number 1 and the number 2 batters in F4 in a season in the wild card era. I won't read the full list, but the gold standard for that is Aaron Judge's 3.9 WAR lead over Nolan Arenado back in 2022 when Judge had 11.1 F4 and Arenado had 7.2. And those are the Nugs.
Thank you, Jay.
I have a final thought, though. Can I sneak that in?
Go ahead. Yep.
Are you at it? Do you not have time? I can save it for Wednesday. I'll save it for Wednesday. Oh, okay.
I said the fuck.
Yes. You can take mine, Jay.
Okay.
I have to punt on my final thought, so please take mine.
Why? Why do you have to punt on it?
I need to run.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I don't want to hold people up.
Go.
We'll get to it on Wednesday. I want to know because Dallas is not going to get off easy. It's about the Pirates, and we're going to talk about them, and we're going to talk about it right with their playoff odds being at 7% on August 10th after that wildly successful offseason that I had to hear so much about this year. So, yeah, we'll talk about it on Wednesday. That's my final thought.
Okay. Dallas?
Yeah, shout out Peyton Tolley. 14 strikeouts on fewer than 85 pitches is the first guy to do that in baseball history, I believe, right? Which is pretty sexy. And I got to witness that, which was fun. I also got to witness Jeff McNeil's 1,000th career hit, as well as Jacob Wilson surpassing the record held by Mike Bordick of 110 games of errorless play at shortstop. That now belongs to Jacob Wilson at 111 straight Wagos without a boot. Salute you. Pick it, Jay Willie.
All right, JTN back Tuesday. Me, Jay Hay, maybe Coley. I think he's supposed to be getting internet today, so hopefully Coley's back. But if not, me and Jay Hay got you on JTN for Tuesday night, and then the return of Family Feud on the Wednesday episode. Very excited for that. All right, we'll see you guys then.
Wow.